think we have to make an intentional effort to transform our schools. The reason why there's so much pressure on the 54 high-performing high schools is the fact that we are not adding new ones to the 54. All new schools under construction and be operational, whether they are E-blocks that are flowed out was recently opened. President, we have to do affiliation. Open a STEM high school at Akrode. Why don't you affiliate it with St. James of Sunyani, that famous school where students are doing so well? When you do, you're going to get another St. James at Akrode, and that is what we're going to do.
Hello and welcome to the Transformation Agenda series on education. Today we bring you a documentary from St. James Seminary Senior High School, which is in Abesim in Sunyani. Every year we have thousands of students who complete the junior high school and they write a BEC. After comes placement. Are you aware that from 2011 to date, St. James Seminary Senior High School has been among the top 10 best schools when it comes to WASSCE? Are you aware that in 2022, 2 students topped the whole WASSCE result that came out? First and second position in the whole of West Africa? Today, we bring you a documentary. Follow me as we walk you through the school.
St. James Seminary Senior High School was established in 1978 by the late Bishop of Sunyani Dawse, Most Reverend James Kwadwo Owusu. Until 1994, the school admitted only Catholic boys who aspired to become Catholic priests. In 1994, however, mainly due to the call on the bishop by the Catholic faithful in Sunyani Dawse and the traditional leaders for the establishment of a boys' school to cater for their sons' secondary education, the minister agreed to open up the seminary to non-seminarians to study alongside seminarians to ensure they all benefit from the high academic and moral discipline in the seminary. The objective was that the future priests and the future laity, Catholics and non-Catholics, would know each other and establish cordial working relationship within and outside the church in the future. The cooperation between the seminarians and the non-seminarians has been remarkably positive since 1994 when the school became a government-assisted school. St. James Seminary Senior High School is a boys' school situated in the Bono region with a population of 1,960. 80% of the students in this school are science students.
The school started in 1978 by our late Bishop James Kwadwo Owusu. He was called Bishop James Kwadwo Owusu, so he named the school after him. Yes, so that's why it became St. James Seminary in 1978. So for that time, it was a seminary. That means a place to train future Catholic priests. So it was a seminary. Only few candidates were here. They started with a small number. And then from there, in 1994, the traditional people in Bruahafo, now we have 3 regions, the whole Bruahafo comprising Bono East and then Ahafo. All the traditional leaders went to the bishop and appealed that they have seen the good works that the school is doing. That time, 1978, they want their boys, their young boys, to benefit from this good training. So they appealed to the bishop, and the bishop, with consultation from his consultants, agreed. So they went to Accra, to Minister of Education. So in 1995, they granted the permission to add non-seminarians. That means boys who will come through the training, but they will not become priests. So they were two groups of students, seminarians and non-seminarians. So it became St. James Seminary Secondary School. So the whole idea was that those who would like to become priests and those who will not become priests, they will have the same training so they can cohabit. They can establish good rapport whilst they are here. So when they go out, whether they are Catholics or non-Catholics, they can live together peacefully.
St. James Seminary Senior High School has brilliant academic records spanning over 10 years. The school was adjudged nationally as the best academic performing school in Wasi from 2011 to 2022. In 2005, St. James was presented with an excellent award by the West African Examination Council for producing the overall best candidates. In 2021, the school presented 448 candidates for WASI. The school obtained 100% in all subjects. With the same height maintained, 2022 was no exception. Out of the 331 candidates registered, all the 331 were shortlisted for the university, and that makes the school the current best school in Ghana. In 2022, the school presented 283 candidates for the WASI. The school obtained 100% in all subjects and has been ranked as the best academic performing school in Ghana and West Africa. In the St. James Seminary Senior High School emerged the two best candidates for the 2022 WASI, the persons of Alex Opoku Menu and Benjamin Aram Nanakwame Degbe.
2004, Dr. Hino Augustine, he was the overall second best student in WASI, West Africa. He was the overall. That was the first time we heard about this WASI overall. So we had it before. So these two guys is not the first that we are. Yes, and then 2016, Chile Pius, he got the overall best student in WASI. So 2004, we got the second best. But 2016, we got the first overall best candidate in West Africa. And then he was sent to Nigeria for the award. This time we went to Gambia, but he was sent to Nigeria, and they gave him $5,000 that time. He is now at Kwame Nkrumah University doing medicine. And then 2021, we have 4 of our students who got this WAEC Distinction Award. We got the second and the third overall best students in general science, and then the best in business. So general arts, we got the overall best 2021. Business, we got the overall best, and then science second and third. So 4 students got that. And the recent one is the 2022 one, this international best award. Alex, he got overall best in Ghana and West Africa. So when you say West Africa, we are talking about Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. These were 5 countries, those who prescribe to this WASI. And then 2022, we presented 283 candidates. They all qualify for university. 283. No school has ever done that, where all students will qualify for university. So that is also another mark, 2022.
The school regards spiritual development as central in human resource development. In pursuance of this, religious associations such as Legion of Mary, Young Christian Society, and Catholic Students Union exist to develop students spiritually. The activities include Bible studies, Bible quizzes, and recollections and retreats. There are timely recollection sessions organized for students to help them live exemplary Christian lives. It is no wonder that the theme for last year's recollection session was "You are the light of the world."
I'm a proud old student of St. James, and I also taught there as a teacher. That was my first assignment as a priest, and now I'm also the board chairman. So St. James is more or less like a home for me in every aspect, as a student, as a teacher, and now as a board chairman. The discipline, because grace is built on nature. So even if God is helping you, you don't want to help yourself, you cannot achieve any success in life. So I believe that young men who come there, they know the philosophy, they know the culture of the school, and the culture is discipline. You have to be here, you have to be here. And discipline is doing the right thing at the right time, at the right place. So they understand you have to be in the classroom, you have to be there. If you have to be in the dining hall, you have to be there. You have to be in the chapel, you have to be there. That is what discipline is about. And once you have young men who are prepared to go through this kind of rigorous discipline culture that has been laid down there, and they follow that, you have committed teachers who commit themselves to teach, because you have young men who are ready to learn, to study. You have teachers who are prepared and willing to teach. You have parents who are willing to support their work. So these are the three pillars. You need the students should be ready to study, the teachers should be ready to teach, and the parents should be ready to support. So the God factor, and also the student factor, the teachers factor, and also the parents factor. That is, I think, the success of our school.
The interventions that has made the school becoming an oasis of excellence includes 1. Guidance and counseling, that's orientation and periodic sessions. 2. Intervention programs, remedial programs, personal improvement plan. 3. Collaboration of all stakeholders. 4. Mentoring.
We assess the masses. Sometimes we give the students forms. They have to assess the masses' performance, and prompt action is taken. So where there's the need to give you some education, we'll do so. Again, any master that will come to the school, what we do is that we assign the new master to the seasoned masters, so that they will coach the person to be abreast with what we are doing in the school. We have the guidance and counseling, and some of us, even those who are not even counselors, we are all willing that the students will get 8 A's. You go to the class even before you start anything. You must let them know why they are in the school and what they have to achieve. So they are all part of what is enhancing our performance in the country.
I am there to guide the students to cope with life in school here, and also spiritually how I can help them to understand certain things beyond them. So basically that's my work, to accompany them, to let them go to the rest of the school.
Every term I meet my heads. So when I meet them, we look at the psychosocial needs of their learners, and then we look at how best we can come in and intervene. So every term or semester, I meet all the heads. Then we share the best practices. So schools like Notre Dame, Sahesh, and then Ola and Mount Carmel, Techiman, and Kenya, say respectively. All these come to become, then we share what is working and what is not working. So for St. James in particular, there's a priest in charge of their psychosocial needs. Apart from the chaplain, he is in charge of psychosocial needs. So we always organize workshop, training, and how they can help these people. And so if the students are emotionally stable, they can stay and focus and learn.
We spoke to some of the students.
The experience has been interesting. We heard a lot. I heard a lot when I was coming to the school, and I think I've gotten to experience most of what I heard.
Okay.
I think the most important thing being the discipline the school has offered me and then my colleagues, and also the academic training that we've received, most especially from the teachers. When you come here, the school is very competitive, so it has caused most of us to try our best to live up to expectations.
St. James has been very interesting. We heard a lot. There's been competition here. Academic excellence is top. We are the best since over a decade now. We've been the best. Then we've heard a lot when we were in school. That is JHS. We heard a lot, and then we've come to experience a lot. The teachers are very keen on the students. They care a lot about us. You can see that. As you came in the morning, you saw how disciplined everything was intact, everything was on point. Teachers are always on us, making sure we do the right thing. And it's very nice. It's okay. You want 80s, you want the best in everything. If you want to be disciplined, you want academic excellence, come to St. James.
The experience has been interesting. In fact, the school and what everyone said about it is really true. When I was coming, I was told that this school is very disciplined and we are made to study And so when I came here, I had psyched myself that I was going to be one of the best people. And so when I came, the way the school has been so spiritual, where we are made to go to church at the same time, we're also made to study. The experience has been fun, and I think it is one of the reasons why this school is the best. I have become more spiritual in my life. First of all, I was that kind of person where I would go to church. I believe in God, I believe in Christ, but my life as a Christian was not so deep before I came to St. James. But since I came to St. James, we've been made to indulge ourselves in the spiritual aspects of our life, while also focusing on academic.
It has been quite wonderful, really, because first of all, when I came here, I wouldn't say I didn't expect anything, but I was expecting, like most other schools, for what they said about it to be hyped up and exaggerated, but it's quite exceeded my expectations. It's like parents and their children, they try their best to help us with any issues, not just academic wise, but emotionally. And you see, sometimes some teachers will come to class, and after teaching, when they have spare time, they advise us about some things and say, let's say, if you have any issues you can't describe in class, you can come and then talk to the teacher in private.
We are getting ready to make a project on mechanized farming.
Okay.
So we are building an irrigation system, and then we'll also be trying to power the system by creating our own form of energy, source of renewable energy. We've learned a lot. Like we use carpentry systems and also even programming. We had to do a lot of programming. We had to improvise at some point. So it worked a lot with like what we usually do at class. Wow. Practical aspects. We realized that Ghana usually deals with small scale farmers. Our farming system is like what runs the country, and we usually use small scale farming. We are bringing a form of like a technology to help the small scale farmers improve their work. We usually deal with rain and like depend on rain most of the time. So we are building an irrigation system. We are building a powerhouse to be able to control that irrigation system. We will also be able to collect the data and improvise per crop. Right now we are using maize as our crop that we are working on. So later we'll find other crops and see how we can deal with them too. Campus is very, it's tough. You go through a lot. And learning is top notch. You always have to learn. But we also have time for God. Praying, learning. You sometimes get games and stuff like that too. And as a robotics club member, I usually have a lot to do.
The school praised the Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Yao Sedichum, for providing the school with physics, chemistry, and biology lab to support the academic work.
All these beautiful things you're seeing here is the handiwork of the Minister, Dr. Abichu. In fact, he saw the need that St. James is doing well, and there's a need for him to help us because the school has virtually 10% school. As I speak with you now, we have. Wow. And when we contacted him about how things are going on here, he said, no, being one of the finest schools in Africa, he can't just sit there. He has to do something for us. So he came and then made these beautiful things.
So he gave you the science.
That is it.
That's the physics, chemistry, and biology labs.
Three of them. Physics, chemistry, and biology. Formerly, we had to run shifts, and the benches in between were hindering the number of students that would be here. But with this thing, we can accommodate a lot of students, which has reduced the stress from the masses previously. Okay. So in fact, and not only that, they are also giving us some very nice benches and a future bar as well in there. So working around here, it's like I don't know, it's like heaven. Wow. Everybody wants to be here.
The head of department for mathematics. I'm also the coordinator for the National Science and Maths quiz for the school and a facilitator of mathematics teachers in Ghana. Now, mathematics is one of the most practical subjects and a very easy to teach subject. So in St. James, what we do is we try to build the capacities of our teachers to bring the mathematics at the very basic level for our students so that they can understand, and they teach it practically. So what I do as a facilitator is grooming my teachers and building their capacity to teach the subject such that it is so practical and at the basic level. That's how we do, and it makes it very easy for the student. I've always said it that where there is problem with the mathematics, as far as the student's learning is concerned, the teacher must evaluate himself. When we move around the country to do facilitation, most of these things come out, and teachers do this kind of lecture method, which is not helping students at all.
I'm here with Mr. Eric Chian, who is the coordinator for the National Science and Math Quiz. You know, what they have done is to select students, grooming them for the National Science and Math Quiz that happens here. How has the experience been?
This is also a project the school is undertaking.
Okay.
It's a big project we are undertaking. So we started and we have seen results. First and second West Africa. I don't think any school in Ghana has ever done it. I know third, second, third. But first and second, no school has done it. So we want to repeat that cycle. Not once, like we started 2011, becoming the best in Ghana for WASI continuously. We want to also become the best in WASI for top students. Now, if you are talking of WASI, we have done it for over a decade. I want to also enter the NSMQ. So last year we started, last 2 years. Last 2 years, unfortunately, we got to an 8th. Last year we got to semi-finals. So you should know what is cooking. What is cooking. Yeah. So we are praying it yields the results the students want and what the school wants, the teachers, the parents, patrons, everybody, all students.
When I came at first, it wasn't easy. Even though I've taught for some time, but I wasn't in a single-sex school. So this was my first time of teaching the middle students. So it wasn't easy, but as time goes on, I was able to cope with them. For you being a lady teaching guys, sometimes they try to outsmart you. They might think that you being smallish like this, tiny lady, they think that you don't know anything, so sometimes they will try to challenge you. Even though they may cooperate, but there are some times that they may try to challenge whatever you teach. Yes, they think that they are bossy like that. But I always let them know that I am the boss. Yes, I am the boss in class, because what I know, they haven't written. So I always put them on their toes so that they will be on track. Teachers target the students, but for me, I would say that if I teach, 90% of them understand whatever I teach.
Free Senior High School, I would say that is excellent, no matter its shortcomings. Because right now, parents are not paying school fees, and then some of them complain about the item they buy, they are expensive and all that, and then some of them, instead of fixing their attention on the positive part, they just comment on the negative, the shortcomings of the free SHS. But to me as a parent, once my son has been through it and I didn't pay a peso, that alone, it speaks volumes.
So the whole of West Africa, we have countries that are on it, about 4 of them, and Ghana is part of the WASI, and the whole of Africa, West Africa.
Yeah.
This man, his son, Alex Opokumenu, topped, and he's giving us what the experiences and what he did as a father in support of that achievement. We as parents must learn from what he just said, and I believe that our children will also get to this level.
We visited a regional minister, and this is what she had to say about the school.
My president, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, special salute to you. Special salute because his policies and programs, especially the free SHS that we have, I believe, has also paved the way for those of us who, but for the free SHS policy and program, wouldn't have even have access to it. Again, you know, the placements the special way of even placing students. There are some students who have been so good, but because maybe they don't know any big man or big woman elsewhere, he or she may not have access to say St. James and even other schools that you think of. But with this special program, everyone at all, provided you or you qualify, you can be there. And so if president is doing all this to serve, support people to have access to this form of education, then you and I think that he should be saluted. As for programs or policies, when they come, definitely there may be one or two areas where there will be lapses. But that is why you are there, that's why I'm there. And so we have to refill those areas to make Ghana education a better one. And I think the Minister for Education and his team are also doing a yeoman's job. He himself is a sort of motivator, to the extent that motivating people, and then the STEM programs and the TVET and the rest. Yes, those of the time that we were schooling, we were thinking that it's about a grammar school. If you're able to speak English language, if you're able to do that kind of debate, you were you. But today we've seen that it takes the head, it takes the heart, and it takes the hand. And so these three areas all should be considered, so that that person who goes to school and he or she, his or her grammar is not so good, but then he can use the hand or the heart. I believe that is what the Minister for Education is doing, and therefore all the directors supporting him. That trickles even down to the Regional Education Office and the Municipal Education Office. And I'm believing that by and by, in-service training should be organized more for them. And those people who have made it, like these two young guys who have made it, what is their secret? They should be made to also be role models to their own peers. And their peers will accept them more than me telling them our story. We keep on telling our children that at our time there was no sandals but we were going to school, there was no shit-up but we accept to be in the school. But today they write exam and if they fail one, they think the world has come to an end. We ourselves as parents, you as a leader in the education sector, and the world, everybody, even an whatever role that you can play to bring up our education to that standard, so that wherever Ghana will go, our name will be on the world map. This is the time. Let us rise up. And when we rise up, you do take your listening, and I also take mine. We'll be able to make Ghana proud on the calendar of education.
The Regional Director of Education had this to say.
It's this free senior high school that has produced the best two students in the whole of West Africa, not Ghana, but in the whole of West Africa. This suggests that, yes, the free senior high school, in terms of academic improvement and all that, has not been compromised. The teachers are there. These days, if you go to any school, you have teachers who are professionals, graduates, some with their masters. And so, yes, the free senior high school is something good that has come to help all Ghanaians. The president is doing well, the minister is doing well in terms of the provision of infrastructure, human resource. Yes, you can say all the senior high schools have the requisite number of teachers that they need. And so, yes, government has done a lot. If you go to Kwasi, Kwasi has been upgraded to a STEM school. And if you look at what has been provided there, you can see that a lot has gone into it. Investment in education is quite weak. The government and the minister have done very well to improve education.
So St. James is our pride, and we are so happy and we thank God for everybody that has played a role to make St. James what it is. We have challenged ourselves here as the home, and we have our slogan, charity begins at home. That whatever we want to see in our schools must begin here in the office. So whatever is happening in St. James, trust me, if you go to almost every school here, it's reflecting there. So our office is the home of discipline. We try to be the example, and that is what is pushing what is happening in the schools. So St. James is no exception. The Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Yao Osei Edicho, has been one of my role models. I have listened to him, how he journeyed, and I have used the minister's life story as an example to motivate some of students to aspire to be there as well. I've always told the students that the education is the only magic in this world that can turn you from nobody to somebody. So the minister is an inspiration.
It is known that an increase in enrollment results in downward performance in education. And even though the free senior high school policy brought an increase in enrollment to the senior high school, the academic performance of our senior high schools increased, fighting against gravity. This has never occurred anywhere except in Ghana. The vision of the school is to become a home for excellence in education and moral leadership.
On the world map is the African continent. Western part of the African continent is West Africa, Ghana being a part of it. 2016, the President of the Republic of Ghana pledged to ensure free senior high school education for every Ghanaian child. Enjoying the free senior high school brought us into a level where we complained that the system has gone down, that the education system of this country is not what it was, or it has actually gone down. 2011 to 2022, a school in Ghana, in St. James Seminary Senior High School, performed excellently at the West African Examination Council's exam, WASI 2022. The best students, first and second, came from this school. We brought you a documentary today to tell you that the free senior high school is not what you think it is, that it has really produced the best student on the continent of Africa, specifically West Africa. Ghana is on the pathway to success. We want to say a big thank you for joining us today on the Transformation Agenda series on education. We hope to see you again next week for another edition of this program. Thank you very much.